Do you have a child with writing difficulties or student with writing difficulties? Let's talk about that today, shall we? Hello, beautiful people. You're welcome to my channel. This is your favorite special need coach, Esther Emmanuel. Today on my channel, we're going to be discussing how to help kids with writing difficulties. So, in the special need field, writing difficulty or having trouble with written expression is what we call dysgraphia. Dysgraphia affects skills around handwriting, typing, and spelling. So, for example, a kid with dysgraphia might write slower than his peers, may have trouble when it comes to anything that has to do with written expression, writing generally, maybe answering questions in written form, writing essay and all, writing a story, anything that has to do with written expression can be a difficult thing because it's difficult for them to form letters when they write. Now, before we talk about how to help kids with dysgraphia, kids with writing difficulties, let's look at the signs of dysgraphia so that as a parent, if you see that these signs, you know how to intervene. I always say early intervention is key. I am a believer of that. So always look out for the signs. That is why parent involvement is important. You would only notice these signs if you're involved. Okay. So yeah, let's look at the signs of dysgraphia. The main sign of dysgraphia is messy handwriting. When a child can write properly on the line and form letters badly, but there are other signs that you can also look out for. So they can struggle with forming letters correctly. So, for example, this is how to form the letter B correctly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but a child with dysgraphia would form it like this. Okay, so you see, it's incorrectly formed. It's like from down to up when it comes to the curve instead of up to down. So that is a sign that the child has dysgraphia. Okay, another sign is spacing. A child with dysgraphia would have issues spacing words. Okay, when you're writing on a straight line, you have to space each word. Okay, so sometimes they might have difficulty, understanding the amount of space they should put. Sometimes it can be too wide and it can be too clumsy. Just that understanding of irregular spacing, can be a difficulty for someone with dysgraphia. Then writing on the line is another issue. You see a child with dysgraphia right off the line, or just, the letters are always jumping, on the line. It doesn't sit on the line as it should. Yeah, that is another indication that this child might have dysgraphia. Or skipping letters in between words is another indication. Sometimes they might want to write a word and then they'll skip one letter. So, for instance, they want to write the word compound, okay, and then they can write it like this. It can be COM P, then the second O is missing, they just put UND. Do you understand? So that is also a sign of dysgraphia. So even though this dysgraphia isn't formally diagnosed, as a learning difficulty or a learning disability, it's real that people have this issue. Students have this issue. Some kids have this issue in school, messy handwriting, having difficulty with written expression. So yeah, there is a need for intervention. The truth is, dysgraphia doesn't come alone. Most times, a child with dysgraphia would might also have another learning difference like dyslexia or ADHD. So it is important you do a formal evaluation and assessment so that you would know how to help your child. But well, I'm here for you. Let me just, share little tips on how to help kids with dysgraphia, both at home and in school. Well, yeah, there are different ways to help kids with dysgraphia at home and in school. But the main treatments for dysgraphia are occupational therapy and physical therapy. So the occupational therapy aspect works on the child's fine motor skills, helping the child hold properly, form letters well, write, just hand and eye coordination and all. And the physical therapy works on the child's gross motor skills, okay? The long muscles, the larger bones, how flexible, how it should be coordinated. Yeah. So those are the two main therapies for a kid with dysgraphia. But let's talk about how to help at home and in school as a parent and as a teacher. So at home, what you can do, to improve your child's writing skill is to engage your child in different fine motor activities. If you watch my video on different fine motor skills, you can get ideas on how to engage your child. The reason is when it comes to handwriting or written expression, it's more than just writing on the paper. It has to do with a fine motor skill. Okay, it's a skill to hold is a skill. Visual and writing is a skill. When you talk about handwriting, it's an eye and eye coordination thing. It's a visual motor drill. Okay, so you have to see and do something. For instance, if you're cutting something on a straight line, you have to look at what you're cutting and be focused on it. Then use your hands and trace. So you see there is a correlation between the eye, your visual, and your hand, what your hand is doing. And also writing is the same. You have to see what you're writing or sometimes think about it and write. Okay, so when you engage your child in a lot of activities that has to do with eye and hand coordination, fine motor skills, you see that you are improving your child's handwriting skills. So get a lot of fine motor drills. I have a video. Just check out some of my videos on this channel. I think I have one that talked about fine motor drills. Yeah, you can go back to it and see different ideas to engage your child in it. And you see that the more you engage your child in different fine motor skills, the better your child's, dexterity, the dexterity of your child's hands will improve. Your child will be able to hold, pencil properly or pen properly or something, just holding properly and forming letters correctly, will be easy for your child. So for a student with dysgraphia, of course, there will be difficulty with handwriting, with typing, and with spelling. There are classroom accommodation you can employ as a classroom teacher to help that child. Okay, so the first is to provide pencil grips. Pencil grips are great help for persons who have trouble writing. So provide different pencil grips, that could help the child hold the pencil or the pen properly to write. So sometimes kids with dysgraphia have pains here because their fine motor skills are not as strong enough. So when they write for some time, you see they're like this, they're doing this, do you understand? And it's because they feel pain here, even if they don't write as much as their peers. They start feeling pains. So if you provide pencil grips, that would really help in holding and writing properly.